So hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video and tuning in. A little bit of a different setup because of quarantine and all that. So it's real talks, but with a spin. We're doing it on Zoom today. So if you guys like it,
High quality, high def.
high quality, high def, high quality
4K.
audio, 4K everything.
6K, what do you mean?
But today for our show, we just wanted to kind of talk about the quarantine and how it's affecting creatives in general, especially within Toronto. So we brought on our friend Josh Kobayashi. Welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, a little round of applause. There we go.
Thank you.
So Josh is a creative as well. He's a photographer. He does a little video as well. I know some graphic design as well in Toronto. So I just wanted to kind of all of us collectively, we're all creatives. We wanted to, just talk about how this quarantine is affecting us, and maybe just talk about some different ways we're dealing with it, and maybe get some good advice for people out there who are, want to know how they can get through kind of this unprecedented time. So so Josh, first of all, how are you dealing with quarantine, man? Like what's been going on with you?
Not too bad, honestly, because my girlfriend and I, right, we live together, and so just been spending lots of time together. We have a lot of places around here to go for walks, trails and stuff like that. So it hasn't been that bad from a mental standpoint. Like we've just been keeping busy, trying to, do things that make us happy. But I guess the biggest change, which is why we're here talking about it, is the work, right?
Yeah.
Is the career stuff. But besides that, it's been nice to wake up whenever and just, nothing's happening, so whatever, just kind of chill around and do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a big adjustment period, because it's you wake up and it's like, oh well, I don't really have anywhere to go today. It's kind of I made the joke to Jess the other day where it's you wake out of bed and you walk 2 feet to your desk or wherever. It's like, oh, I'm in the office, so
yeah, I feel like because we're just like, oh, I want to start waking up, really early and stuff. But it's like you're waking up, you're not waking up to go anymore. So you're just like, okay,
you got to find a little bit of
9,
not 9:30, 10 o'clock we wake up usually.
I'm starting to get a little bit earlier. So I started at 9:30. So now I'm gonna try and do 8:30 and then 8 o'clock, and then
hopefully you get up there.
Hopefully get to 7:30.
Yeah.
But I go to bed pretty late though. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It evens out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're.
I know you're an early riser, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we try and get up around 7 on average, probably around 7. Just to go for a morning walk, make coffee or whatever, grab coffee from a Tim Hortons drive-through, that kind of thing.
And this hasn't affected your sleeping schedule or anything like that? Because I know a lot of people it's affected their sleeping schedule.
I think for us, we actually got better at sleeping for a longer period of time. So we go to bed at 10 p.m., wake up at 7. That's a 9-hour sleep. So for sure. Yeah,
full 9 hours.
It's a full 8 to 9 hours sleep every night. Got to go every day.
I don't even want to talk about my sleep schedule.
Yeah, Dan's a little quiet in there.
Right?
Yeah,
top 5, right, buddy?
Oh, last night was really bad. I tried to fix my sleep schedule last night. Honestly, I've been going to bed at 5 a.m. Because I'm a night owl. I have a very hard time trying to get to bed at the end of the day. So I went to bed at
When are you playing? What console?
Yo, no, I honestly I fell asleep at 9. I tried to go to bed early, maybe 9 or 10, and then my body just woke me up at 3, and then I was like, oh fuck, okay. So I went upstairs, grabbed some water, and then I couldn't get to bed till 5 again. So I'm like, well, there's that, trying to fix my sleep schedule. But it's either I'm playing Fortnite or either doing I don't even know, watching YouTube.
Anime.
Just watching or the anime too. Yeah, no.
Catching up on your
time for introverts and staying at home trying to catch up on their shows. Yeah, it's bad.
So I've been seeing Josh on your Instagram and stuff. You've been selling these custom sneaker. Is it are they photos or paintings? You want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got the idea from my girlfriend. me being heavily into sneakers and doing a bit of YouTube on the side for sneakers and stuff like that, and also having a love for art and design, things like that, I thought, I know there's a lot of females out there that love sneakers, but any of the memorabilia or collectibles that come with sneakers are more male based, they're not female oriented. So I thought, why not make a more female oriented piece of art that girls can buy, that anyone can buy. Like, I love them, that's why I make them. But it is more female oriented, and yeah, so it's really just taking really famous silhouettes of certain sneakers and drawing them with one or two single lines, and yeah, that's it. Adding like a color background to it, and that's it.
And what do you do? Like, what software do you use to make those?
So I hand draw them, and then I use Illustrator. Well, I use an app on my phone called Adobe Capture. I'll show you. And then I pop it into Illustrator, and that's it. This is the app right here. Adobe Capture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to make one of them?
Well, like each drawing takes like 30 seconds, but that's after 100 tries. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it takes a while to perfect it, but it is what it is.
Now, are you selling those like online and stuff? Like, so if someone wanted to, check those out and actually buy one, are they able to do that?
Not right now, only because everywhere that I'm printing them is closed. So
right. Yeah.
like, supply chain, yeah. So I can't get them printed anywhere to make more copies of it. But that's essentially how it will work, is sell them online or through Instagram. Yeah, they can pay however they want. PayPal.
PayPal, yeah. E-transfer, anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is Printful still working? Is that that still a thing?
Oh, really? Printful's not working.
They're done, eh?
They were for a while, and then even some print-on-demand places in Canada, like in Montreal and stuff, they were all working for a while, and then up until maybe like a week ago, they just stopped. Like they lost some of business, and they figured out they just put things on pause.
Yeah.
I guess they don't want any packages coming in from like foreign countries and stuff right now.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, that's like, this is what kind of is affecting everybody, right? It's like one thing shut down. It's like a chain reaction, like you said, Josh. It's kind of affecting all of this. How have you found it in terms of like work and stuff? Like, have you had like clients like cancel or like just completely like postpone jobs or revisit jobs? Like, have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, right? Like, most of our projects are booked anywhere from a couple of weeks in advance to maybe 6 months or 8 months in advance. And every project that I had in my calendar is scrapped. It's just like canceled, pretty much. Literally every single one. Which is, I mean, not to say that it's any different than any other industry right now, but it's pretty much black and white. Everything was good, and then now everything's off the table. So that's how I'm finding it right now. I'm doing some side work currently for an existing client that I can do remotely, but that's pretty much it right now. It's been quiet.
Yeah. Are you?
That was the same thing with us.
Yeah. Because we're thinking about like we're still kind of trying to actively search out for people for after this quarantine dies down. But I feel like it's still hard to gauge. Okay, like reach out to them and be like, hey, we want to inquire about offering our service to you, but we honestly don't know like when this is going to be all over. So are you actively like still trying to look for, I don't know, generate leads and reach out to people still, or are you kind of like waiting until this goes over to continue to reach out?
So here's my mentality on that is I actually got this mentality from Robert Herjavec. He's on Shark Tank. He's from Toronto. And he says right now during Corona, don't try to get new customers, but try to grow the relationships you have with existing customers. Because the reason that is think about right now what you're buying, right? You're not actively going out and buying new things. You're not actually buying luxury items. You're buying the things that you are used to buying. And that's kind of like on a smaller scale, but when you think about it on a business sense, how you can translate that, I've been trying to be more active on social media because in my mind, what that equates to is making sure that I stay relevant in the minds of all of my followers and all of my contacts after coronavirus passes, so that when businesses and companies out there want to work with freelancers again, like you guys and like me, our names are still relevant and at the forefront of their minds. So yeah, Robert goes, don't waste your money or effort going after new customers because nobody's buying anything right now, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to double down on existing clients.
That's a really good point, actually.
That is a good point, and I like how you said that too, because it's like, especially now, I've noticed that to be a little bit of a trend where you see a lot more people who maybe before were a little bit less frequent in their posting or wouldn't post at all, to now all of a sudden they're like ramping it up, where now they're posting 3 or 4 times a week. So I feel like now is a really good time for, I guess you could like building your online presence and your online brand is like, maybe you can't go out there and actually shoot, but you can still be proactive and produce other content that lets people get a little bit more of a relationship and a connection with your brand, which you're so busy doing other stuff. Had this not happened, you may not have had the opportunity to do so, right? So I think that's a good point. Definitely.
Yeah, in some aspect, it's kind of like a little bit of a blessing, because everyone has to kind of step back and halt and kind of take a look at, okay, like what can I do now and improve my business. And a lot of it is like social presence.
Yeah. Now, how long do you like? Are you guys? Because I know there's difference in opinion in terms of how long this thing is going to be lasting, but do you think that this will have a lasting effect on, like, because it's like, let's say this thing lasts a year. Do you think this will set back like people in the creative industry in terms of developing their, like, I don't know, their list of clientele, if this lasts a year and they're not able to actively like go out and shoot and really showcase what they can do?
I think it depends on the company. I think some companies and people are going to be willing to spend money out the gate when all this passes, and some people and companies will still be a bit reserved with their money, rightfully so. And so I think, to your point, let's say this lasts until the holiday season or early next year, that would be the time then to kind of contact every possible new lead and new customer to see who is willing to actually spend money on you. Because to your point, coming out of Corona might be a great opportunity to present to clients, hey, look, I'm actively working again, so are you. You're going to obviously need new content for your spring summer 2021 campaign or your fall winter 2021 campaign, whatever. And so I can shoot that at a reduced rate because I know that your pocket is obviously slimmer than it normally would be, and mine, I want to get work. So you know what I mean? So you can work both sides of it.
So you're saying it's almost you're creating a little bit more of an incentive for the client to you're almost working with the client in terms of, you guys were both in the same type of situation, and that might not have been the case, had the situation not occurred.
It's a little bit of common ground.
A little bit of common ground, exactly, right? So yeah, no, that's a good point. I like that for sure.
And sorry, real quick, just putting yourself in the company's shoes. Think about how almost every company out there right now is working on like a skeleton crew, like very little employees, meaning that they can't do the forward thinking or the planning that they normally would do with their full-size team. So any company out there right now is really just making sure that things get done on a day-to-day basis, but they're not putting full 100% effort into planning ahead. And that's when we can jump in and say, hey, I'm here for you. I can shoot or do whatever it is.
Yeah, so that's like a really good point in terms of where creatives in general can take advantage and to really get their, I guess the term would be, like get your foot in the door, when maybe before they wouldn't have had that chance, because now you're alluding to everyone is kind of like a skeleton crew, but before they would be firing in all cylinders, which might have closed that door a little bit tighter. So yeah, no, it's a good point.
Are you doing any like passion shooting, like going out by yourself and and just because I know Dan, you're going out a couple of times and gone and by yourself and just done some shooting. I don't know if Josh, you've been doing the same thing.
I've been focusing more on my YouTube stuff, like my sneaker YouTube stuff. That's kind of like my passion that I can do like within my four walls here at least. So I've been getting my girlfriend involved in some of that and just trying to pump out as much content as possible. Because that's a whole other conversation, but in my opinion, personally, this is the best time, once in a lifetime chance to build a social presence in a space that's so saturated already. We have more eyes than ever before right now during coronavirus. That's why YouTube has to decline or has to reduce their standard playback quality to 480p because they have so much traffic on YouTube, and we can take advantage of that. You know, instead of posting one video a month, why not 3 a week? Like, you have all the time in the world. Why not? So that's kind of the passion stuff I've been focusing on right now.
Yeah, it almost. Sorry, go ahead.
No. We're both too polite. I was just gonna say it's really about like building that that kind of like long-term effect with like your audience. And really thinking like ahead of like what's to come after this, right? And yeah, it's good to like reach out to new audiences, and like if you're at home, twiddling your thumbs and figuring out like what you can do with like like he's like Josh said, he's going to focus on his YouTube channel, get better at the art that you create, or find the art that you kind of lost like a couple years ago that you've been saying like, yeah, I want to get back into that again. It's really about connecting with more people in a time of like where people really want to be connected with, because like everyone's isolated, right? So I think the best time is to be connected over online, which is the safest and like most engaging way.
And I also thought too that I had where it's like, it can't not only be YouTube, but it could also be like, maybe it's another thing that in the creative space that you might have not have had the opportunity to learn. Like, for example, if you're like a photographer and maybe you want to learn a little bit more about like After Effects or Illustrator, you have an actual that time now where you can invest in, developing, your skills when it comes to that, where so I think that, along with YouTube and building your personal brand, is a good thing. It just allows for more time for you to explore more things and different avenues as well. So I think that's pretty important. But yeah. So with everything going on, how are you guys in terms of like staying in touch with friends and making sure that you're not like, I know we have to isolate ourselves, but not like isolating ourselves in terms of not keeping contact, not self-isolating yourself. How are you guys like keeping in contact with friends? Are you like, messaging them? Are you guys doing Zoom calls like this just to, keep your mind fresh and keep your spirits up?
I mean, I find that personally, like, I'm getting more in contact with friends that I haven't talked to in a while, or that I don't talk to as frequently. And I'm having much more meaningful conversations with them, right? Like beyond like surface level. Personally, that's just my personal experience. I have one friend. Quick story. He's quite religious. Goes to church every Sunday, all that, and he's always wanted to get me kind of into it. Whether that was like just going to one of his services on Sunday, or even watching like a live stream online, things like that. And it was always like, yeah, like sure, like one day, like when I'm free, whatever. And then, once this all happened, and with this story in specific, as churches started to move all their sermons online, he actively, reached out to me and sent me link after link after link to all these sermons. And I was so grateful for it. But again, like these things, I wouldn't normally actively seek out watching these things, but watching them not only broadened my horizons and allowed me to learn and grow as a person, but it allowed me and my friend messaged me and said, if you want to have a Zoom call or a FaceTime and talk about what you watched together, I'd be down for that. Because again, nobody has anything better to do, but like we're we're creating these meaningful connections that I otherwise probably would not have.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Yeah, I find that a lot now too. Like even like for example, like all the gyms are closed, so now they've transitioned to doing like online Zumba classes or online like like yoga classes and stuff like that. So it's always funny because you see those videos on Twitter where it's like their kids will be like taping their parents like going through like a yoga class and stuff. So it's just it's cool just to see like the different elements that this is kind of brought on. So
I think naturally like humans just love like we love to communicate. And we'll always find a way to get out of isolation and communicate with people. I think that's partially the reason like there's so many people still not abiding by like the stay at home quarantine, because it's like people are like naturally wanting to go out and like walk around and see other people and communicate. So I think that's partially why we're having a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's why I got a PS4 again.
Yeah, that's also helped, because like all our friends are on PS4, so you go on there, chat with them, and play games and stuff. So it helps.
Like I got rid of the PS4 just because, well, one, I wanted to just like not have any distractions, and two, I didn't really like. I wasn't like a huge gamer. Like I was, but I kind of just stopped myself because I was like, I have, I'm an adult, like I have bigger priorities. But obviously now I'm like what do I do? And like I don't know, the easiest way for like Jess, like the easiest way for us to connect with like our friends online is through PS4, because obviously like we're not the type of guys to just kind of pick up the phone and like how's it going? Because like for some like anytime that's happened, we're always like, why are you calling me? So the easiest way to do it is like, I don't know, it's like true. Go on PS4. It's true. It's so true. Yeah.
I only call you frequently, Dan. Or
yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. What'd you say, Jess? Oh, I can't hear him either. Can't hear you. Yeah, no, it seems we're getting some some interference here.
We'll stand by while we figure out these technical difficulties.
And we're gonna go to Josh with the weather.
Weather today is
I love that you did. Partly cloudy. Slight chance of rain.
Technical difficulties.
I'm so dead.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear us now?
There we go.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There you go. Okay, so we just disconnected our headphones.
It's just gonna be through the computer now.
Yeah, it'll just be through the computer. So.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You were saying, Jeff?
Oh, I was saying mostly because of business. But I usually call you the most because I have to always be in contact with you. But like other friends, I'm just like, okay, we just talk over PS4 or message in the group. There's rarely someone or separately message each other, but it's rare that someone will pick up the phone and call each other now. But I feel like that's normal for a lot of people now, since everyone's like on social media messaging each other. I think it's rare for people to pick up the phone and call their friends now.
Yeah, I think we're just a weird bunch, honestly. Like, because there's some people that are like, they're like, yeah, no, I just like talking with my friends on the phone for like 4 or 5 hours, and I'm like, oh, I guess we kind of do that like over PS4, but I would never just pick up the phone and be like, hey, how's it going? I don't know. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people. There's some people who are in different situations where let's say they're they have kids who've gone to college and now they kind of come back and are all living under one house. So I know I've heard just you hear on social like a lot of like parents and kids, they're getting on each other's nerves. So how has that element been for you guys in terms of getting along with your family or getting along with your partner that you live with? How has that been? How's that experience been? Because obviously you're seeing them a lot more than maybe you would see them on a regular basis.
I think Brittany and I realized that early on that we're going to be with each other more. Yeah. Just throughout the day, and I think we kind of figured out from the get-go, like we have to change some things with our mental health habits to cope with being around someone more. Even though it sounds strange because we live together, but like being around someone 24 hours a day is a lot different than like seeing them for an hour in the morning and then 3 hours at night, right?
Mhm.
So we've been doing more meditation to try and just connect more on a deeper spiritual level. We've been doing more activities around the house, like cooking or playing games and stuff like that, like board games.
It's turning into quality
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, more
Mhm.
and I've been personally trying to get better at like slowing down, like because like you guys, you're so used to working from home all the time, like just in regular times. I was always like, no, I have to do this, like I have to work until 5 p.m. and then we can do this. But
Mhm.
now I'm trying to like, remind myself that wait a minute, tomorrow is going to be another 24 hours of nothing. So, so I have all the time in the world. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I struggle with that too. She's like, hey,
Yeah.
no, I gotta. Since even though we're staying home, we gotta like do something that can be categorized as
Productive.
work or productive.
Yeah.
So then you're forcing yourself to do something until a certain time. Like, yeah, tomorrow you need another full 24 hours of staying at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like for me too. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
What are you guys doing at home to stay busy?
Sorry, I can't. The
Yeah.
audio.
Say that again. The audio messed up there a bit.
What are you guys doing at home to stay busy and stuff?
Well, we're still doing, like, for us, I mean, we're doing a lot of like and stuff. So planning for what we for the current clients we have, and what we want to do, what the type of content we want to put out for this period, and then what we want to do for when this stuff ends. So I feel like for at least for us, we were actually having a lot of time to sit down and like showcase, like go back and forth on different ideas.
Mhm.
And then another thing too is just catch up on stuff, maybe on like more of like the business side, like the paperwork and like the legal documents that we needed to finish up. So like that's sort of stuff we've at least I found to be this time to be really helpful for in terms of catching up.
Yeah, because we never really had any time before to sit down and do that.
Exactly.
Like, stuff that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like on the creative side too, like it's given me time to like fix up the website the way I've wanted it to. Like you know how many times I've like gone back and like recoded the website. Now I'm like I'm really happy with like how it's gone, and like I've put a lot more time into it than like I did before.
Yeah,
so if you
really
want to check
good.
that out, I put a little reward on it. But yeah, even just like catching up, but just catching up on like the creative side of things and brainstorming new ideas for what we want to do. Because when we get like the green light to kind of get out of quarantine, like I'm going full throttle in terms of creativity, in terms of what we want to put out. And yeah, there's some ideas I want to run by you guys probably after this meeting, but yeah. Well, I know we've talked about like spoiler, we've talked about like merch and stuff. Not just like your crappy kind of throw something on a t-shirt, but really like dive into a more creative side and like more fashion side behind putting something together. So we've been like going back and forth on designs and stuff, but yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I want to do once this is over. But yeah, just catching up and just writing down some ideas. Like I literally have like my book here that I'm constantly writing, like even if it's stupid, like it's out, you know what I mean? Like it's out of my head. And yeah, it's just a good time for me to kind of just like take that time and just like let all the ideas flow out of my head. They could be bad, they could be really good, but I mean, like they're coming, so that's just
Yeah, it's just write it down, and it's shit. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, we just move on to the next idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll be like, yo, you guys, what do you guys think of this? And you're like, oh.
Like all of them, here's like a list of 50. You go through all 50. Is that all? That's all you had? How about this one? Okay, this one right here. Number 50. Please like it.
Number 49. Like, where are you going with these ideas?
So Jesse,
yeah, I know. Sorry, go ahead,
Jesse,
Josh.
Is your girlfriend home?
Yeah, she's going a little bit crazy because all she's doing right now is like, because she can't work because like everything's closed down, so she's just been focused on school. So she's just been like, kind of like, okay, it's kind of boring right now. I have to like focus on school, and she's in the middle of exams. They're doing them all online now, so they're studying. I think she's got a couple. I think a couple they're like multiple choice online, and a couple she has to like scan and send in. Because I know Eddie has to do that too. He's like scan and send it. And stuff, but I don't know. So if I was in school during this time, it would kind of be a little bit stressful and like get to my head, because you really can't do anything else besides, I guess, your hobbies. But then like you're focused on your exams and schooling, and you can't even go take a break by going to work or going to see friends or something like that. So it's pretty stressful.
Yeah, and you can't like not do your schoolwork, because that's all,
exactly.
It's something you have to do. Right? Honestly, I'd probably like, I was a bad student, but I'd probably find a way to not do it. Yeah.
Well, I can see that.
I was a bad student. I was a bad student. It was so funny. Like I'd be in school, but sometimes I'd be like, well, that class isn't that important. I would take on a job instead, and I'd freelance instead of go to class.
Yeah.
Business.
You know what? I don't think that's necessarily, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because it's not like, because you always see, at least for me, when I'm in class sometimes, like, I'd see someone, we'd be learning a lecture, and they'd have like the Spurs like Lakers game on at like, like 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least you're doing something productive in terms of like freelance and like earning some money on the side, right? So I think that's a big difference.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, like, don't take my advice on anything with school, but I mean, like, I could have just like learned it on my own. I learned better like doing things my own way. So yeah, that was just me. But
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
On what Dan just said, what's one thing that you guys have learned about yourself throughout this quarantine?
They can't sit still.
Yeah.
They can't not just like chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to always be doing something. I don't like. I can't shut it off. Like I can't. I gotta always be doing something. And if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm not like productive, or I'm not like going forward with something, or not improving myself. So like it's frustrating. But like it's not necessarily a good thing, because like you need to know how to sit back and chill for a bit. But
yeah. For me, it just comes in waves. Like there's sometimes I'm like really, really productive, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna really do anything, and then it's coming in waves. But I think that's expected, just being at home, because also my sleep schedule is really messed up. So my start of the day to when I should be doing like our regular, like, I guess 9 to 5 doesn't really exist right now for me. It's like
it's all over the place.
Kind of weird. Yeah, I think the only thing for me is like I guess more. It's not like a good thing. It's realized like I need structure to kind of like function better. Like I need to know like, like this is like when I start work, and I've realized I've had a very hard time like, creating that structure, just being at home 24 hours like all the time. So that's been like the hardest thing for me is coming up with a structure for that. Yeah. That's probably the one thing I've learned about myself, is like, because my energy comes in waves, I need to create some sort of structure of when I can distribute that energy.
Yeah, and maximize it for when you do have the energy, and then when you don't, okay, like now is the time to like take a step back and just like refuel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you really need to like distinguish like what, because since it does come in waves, you got to distinguish like, okay, like these are the hours of my day that I want to put like 110% of my energy into, and then this one I kind of just maybe for 2 hours here I'm just gonna like maybe put in about 50, 60, and then here I'm gonna just like do nothing, and then that should be either just like your downtime or you're sleeping. So yeah.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah, how about you?
Honestly, kind of similar to what Jesse was saying at first. Was I realized how much I thrive off of like social interaction, and like just being a social person. I think just naturally we're all like our group right here is very social. Just what we do for work, and I really apologize to her, and like I miss like talking to people, like literally just talking to people. Like I know that sounds crazy, but yeah. And like this is like close, but not the same as being in front of someone. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
it's like the social interactions on sheets and stuff too. Places.
Yeah.
I think I'm missing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get to like share each other's energy, right? So, you know, like sometimes like you know, we'll be going into our day with kind of like a low energy or something, or we're going into a shoot, but then like, you know, we get to meet either one of our clients or like, you know, like either like you, Josh, like one of our friends, and you know, we get to kind of just exchange that energy between each other, and it kind of uplifts us both. And then when we leave that day, we're like, I felt really good, like I felt really productive, and like I feel like tomorrow's gonna even like it just kind of carries in even into the next day. I think that's like the gap that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Because I'm very like introverted. Oh my God. I'm very like introverted, but I'm also very extroverted too. So it's like that like introvertedness where like, or that extrovertedness like piece that I'm missing is like, that's where my lower end, like my energy is very low because I'm missing that interaction and, you know, socializing with my mom all the time. So it's I mean, like I love my mom, but you know, just want to shoot the shit with the boys, you know?
It's funny because we went to go pick up some stuff from Dan's house yesterday, and then we're like, after we talked to him for a bit, I was like, all right, see you in like 3 months, having our next conversation. Because like 20-minute conversation. It was like, all right, so next one will be in like a couple more weeks or a couple months.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, how did you put the background?
Yeah, I'll walk you guys through it. So see on the bottom left, it says stop video.
Yeah.
Oh, choose virtual background. Oh, that's sick.
Oh, I think it's gone over.
Right there on the right hand side.
Okay, and you got to download it.
Oh, good
Like
lord.
you can choose any image you want or video. You can do like a looping video if you want.
It didn't really work for me. I kind of just disappear.
I have a white wall background. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now
Oh, hey.
Hey.
I'm going on vacation. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, jeez.
So I want to, because Josh, I had a question that popped into my head, but we got a little bit sidetracked. In terms of, Dan, you were talking about like coming up with creative ideas and how you have your notebook and you jot them down. Josh, because you know we're not outside, you're not interacting with people. Have you found it hard? Have you found?
That's from oh my God, that's from one of our shoots.
Have you found? Shout out Chubbies.
Chubbies. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
Have you found it hard to come up with like creative ideas more so than you know maybe before? Like, is it more of a strain to come up with ideas, or have you found it actually to be easier because there's less distractions so you disappear?
I found it easier. I personally found it easier, to be honest with you. I think that has to do with like a clear like mental state, like not so much noise around you constantly. And yeah, so I personally have found it easier. I like kind of like Dan. I started making a list of like all the project ideas and video ideas I have for YouTube and personal stuff. And yeah, so I'm not hurting in that department. But what about you guys?
I don't think so. I don't think, at least for me, it hasn't been too bad. I mean, obviously, you know, going out and talking to people and like experiencing stuff in real life helps. But I mean, we're only like what, like 3-4 weeks in, so it hasn't been too bad so far. But I mean, I'll have to see when we're, you know, 3-4 months, 5 months down the road, right? So.
Yeah, Jess, how's it you been for making music?
Yeah.
It's actually
You've been posting a lot.
Yeah, it's actually been a lot better because like I've been able to like sit downstairs and come up with like ideas and play around with it, like, because I've been getting into more so like I need to learn more on the engineering side and playing with the actual softwares in FL Studio and stuff. So I've been more cut down and do that, as well as like reach out to people for like custom beats or like selling my beats as well. And posting, I was able to post a lot more, and then I was starting to like record, put them up on YouTube, which you need to like think of like some sort of setup. And I've been actually, because you got us here now, so like the camera you gave us, so I might start with that. But I've been trying to do it with my phone, and I have no stand for my phone, so I was like putting it in in a fucking a roll of tape just to, like, stabilize it, but it just
Oh,
wasn't.
God.
But it just wasn't working. So like I couldn't record videos. So I just been
I
posting.
have a thing for a tripod if you want it. Like,
Oh
for a
really?
phone.
For like phone?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have to make a trip back over there.
Next time. Next
Well, like
time.
I found it's been like pretty like on the recording side frustrating, but like I've been able to sit down and pump out beats consistently now. So it's just because I stopped for a large portion of time, so
Mhm.
getting back into it it's been kind of like I kind of had to gradually get back into it to be able to pump out like beats consistently. Because like the first
Mhm.
when this first started, I started sitting down and it took me like all day to make like one beat because like I took a huge break from it. And then now it's kind of gradually coming out. Okay, I can make 3 a day now, and hopefully like 4 or 5. So it's just
Yeah.
like really getting back into it.
That's what I was kind of saying with like the lost art.
And
Yeah.
just, yeah, you know, for me, like graphic design is like where I started. And like even web design too, because I thought it was either going to be like either like a web designer or a graphic designer, and just getting back into, you know, doing web. Like it's frustrating sometimes just because, you know, if you don't have that like right line of code, it doesn't really work that way you want it. But I've just been getting back into that, and just you know, it's good for us like on the business side of like, you know, improving the website, but it's just fun for me to just kind of get back into the design aspect of like what I like to do. And too, like I've been creating like some more designs for us, like just for like real collective.
Yeah, I've been playing around with like a lot of graphic design.
Yeah, it's just like getting back into that lost art of like, you know, if you've, you know, missed something before, or, you know, you still do it like a little bit, but you don't do it as much as you'd like to. That's probably like the best time to do it is now.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Might as well, right? We have the time to do it. So that's a greater.
Italian.
Oh my god. I just watching Josh change all of his damn screens.
Oh, his background.
Yeah, I keep honestly though, like I keep telling my girlfriend, like, I'm only saying my girlfriend, by the way, because obviously like I want to keep it generic. I know you guys know her, but for the audience out there, for the millions of viewers.
The millions.
Yeah, millions. I keep telling her, like, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I mean that genuinely, like to have more eyeballs on our content than we will ever have at one time consistently in our life, unless this happens again. But I mean, like realistically, like this is a very, very rare chance for us to pump out, to Dan's point, any content, even if it's shit, and like just, you know, what am I trying to say? I'm rambling, but to you know, just to get more traction, gain the views, gain the followers, whatever it is, and then coming out of coronavirus, being on top.
Yeah. And I think that's probably like, that's a good point, Josh. I feel like now like that's probably like the biggest, not like advice, but like biggest thing that I think as a creative community we can collectively do, and even people in other fields too. Like if you're in fitness, or if you're in like the arts, or if you're in music, or if you're in whatever, it's like now's the time to put out the content, because you know when this thing's all over, you may be so busy, or you may not have that same opportunity, right? So building the brand will definitely pay off, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can I take off his background? I keep disappearing.
Oh, you? All right, I'll take it.
Oh my god.
That's back to. Oh my god.
That's so bad. What's the caption for that thumbnail?
It's too many.
Ooh, damn.
It's too many.
Oh,
Any more questions on your list there, Brady?
These are off the top, man.
These are off the top. We're spitballing here. We're spitting. I don't know. Did you have any questions for Josh, or anything you wanted to talk about? Anything that's been on your mind that you wanted to get out, or anything that you wanted to talk about in particular?
Coronavirus is a biological weapon.
Yeah, because I know this is centered. I know this is centered around coronavirus, but anything maybe like that you've observed, like either online or anything, maybe like before this happened, like anything you've experienced on shoots or anything that maybe for creatives who are watching, they could take away as like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try this, or maybe, maybe if you want to talk about some tips that you have when you deal with clients and stuff, like, I don't know.
Like during Corona,
or even post Corona, maybe like, or well, actually, yeah, like during Corona, like how you've been able to, like, because you were talking about before how you haven't been reaching out to people, but you've just been kind of building that relationship. So maybe give some examples of how you've been building that relationship or things that people can do to further build relationships with their clients.
So let's start during Corona, like where we are right now. I would say, if you're in our position as a freelancer and your customers are typically companies and brands, I would say, number one, don't go after them right now. Like, just stay from afar. But at the same time, make the content that you want to be making for the company. So, like, for example, for me, I'm still buying shoes and making YouTube videos and making or doing photography of shoes, because my goal, let's say for a pair of Nikes, my goal one day is to work with Nike, but I need something to show them when I want to show them my portfolio. I can't just show them my real estate stuff. I have to show them my Nike stuff, right? So there's no better time to do free work than right now. And then coming out of coronavirus, I would say, bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
You can come in as a special guest, man. Come say hi. She said she looks like quarantine. No, come.
No, I'm like.
Come say hi. Come say hi. Come.
Come join the world of Minecraft.
Come. Anyways, coming out of Corona, I would say, be realistic with the fact that your clients or your potential clients are going to have a lot smaller wallets and budgets for marketing or for anything really. So to be cognizant of that, and I mean, so will we. Like, I'm not gonna like hop out of Corona and buy a Louis Vuitton purse. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna take a while for things to rebound. There you go.
Hey, what's up?
You don't look bad. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Come on.
Why do I look like?
Ow!
Oh my God. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And yeah, so as I was mentioning, like, we're all gonna have smaller pockets coming out of coronavirus. So understanding that, because you still want to give them, the client, more value than you get. Always, that's a golden rule, right? That's a golden rule for what we do. But maybe that value can come in cost savings for them. So, let's say, I'm trying to think of an example, but let's say an event, like shooting an event. Or the event that me and you shoot, Dan, every fall, the one for the right, yeah. So we can approach them if it's still on in the fall. If they don't approach us, approach them and say, well, here's what I charged you last year. How about I charge you 20% less? Because I know obviously you'll be you'll be tight. And they will appreciate that. And if you can get more jobs that way and build that relationship and build that rapport, then you'll win.
Yeah.
You really got to think of people not as a number, but like as an actual person.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they do business, it's like they kind of forget that you're actually dealing with another person that has feelings.
Yeah, they get mixed up too much, like the transactions, everything. So.
Yeah, because they just think of like
the number that they're going to get in their bank account afterwards, right? And they're like, well, that, like, if you don't like follow that price, that, you're shitting on my value or whatever. And like, people take it a little too like personally. So you really gotta connect with that person, like on a build a good relationship with them. And again, like, yeah, if you need to take off 20% or 15%, to kind of show that, you do care about the relationship that you've built over the past couple of years. That would definitely show for them that, like, you understand that, obviously, like, things are a little tough right now. I'm gonna cut you some slack as well,
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree with that too. Wise words.
yeah,
Wise words.
wise
Yeah.
words. Yeah.
Trying to think of something else.
Anything.
Let's end it off. We should end it off with the final topic, and then we'll do an outro. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess three. I just thought of this, but like, Josh, what are three things that you want to get out of this quarantine? Let's say we fast forward a year from now, everyone's out of quarantine. What are three things that you want to be able to say, okay, wow, like that was a productive quarantine. I was able to do this, and this, or learn this, and this. I know it's a little bit of an on the spot question, but
No, that's a great question. Only because I've been thinking about this a lot, not specifically three things, but I've been thinking about a lot, like as society and human beings, like how we do things. And I would say I'm related to career and what we do, but I would say number one, continue to be grateful and more grateful for everything we have on a daily basis during our normal lives, including first and foremost our health, obviously, of us and our families. Number two, I think it's made me realize how little we actually need to get through our lives. Like right now on April 10th, every single store and restaurant and activity out there is shut down and closed. Everything that's like a luxury to us as a first world country is closed, and yet we're all still functioning fine. Like the world still moves on, society moves on. The economy might be slow because that's what it's built on, but we're still surviving. So I think understanding how little we actually need as human beings to be happy, right? And to go on with our day. And then the third thing I would just say is, Bubs, babe. This is my grand finale. No, I'm kidding. No, the third thing I would say is, might be kind of cheesy, but is really that connection with your friends and family and how important that is. On a day-to-day basis. Like I was touching on before, you might just talk about surface level things like, oh, how was the party last week or whatever, but actually connecting with your friends and family on a deeper level is the most important thing, because that's all we have at the end of the day is ourselves and our connections with people, right? So yeah,
definitely. Those are some good things, and a lot of them are things that I've realized too, and a lot of things that I feel like now that you sit back and get the time to reflect, you're like, oh man, I kind of took that for granted, or I didn't appreciate that as much as I could. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
What about you guys?
One would be to again, what I touched on earlier is just figuring out about like building that structure, even when I'm just by myself and I don't have the work or anything to kind of like push me to kind of go throughout the day. Like I get like spurts of productivity here and there, but just learning how to focus all the energy and distributing my time accordingly. One would be oh my god. One would be watching the Tiger whatever. Just kidding.
Tiger King.
Tiger King. Another would be kind of just learning a little bit more about money. Obviously money is like a huge a huge factor in how we're living our lives right now, and just kind of understanding a little bit more about that. Like I have a basic understanding, but I kind of want to get a little bit more advanced, and do a little bit more reading on personal finance and obviously like the financial part of our business and growing that. And I guess third thing would just be to keeping that connection with all of my friends and having cool conversations like these, and like reaching out to my family. Like I still like FaceTime like my my nan, and she's just like she's in a retirement home right now, and they're all like isolated, so she's stuck in her room just like we all are. And yeah, just trying to keep that connection with people and not not whatchamacallit, just kind of like be in the dark.
Mm.
Oh, and then also like my Vavo as well. I got to go pick up some fish. Today's Good Friday. She's gonna leave it on the curb, so I gotta go pick up some fish.
Into that, yeah.
Yeah.
What type of fish?
Oh, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, she makes really good fish though.
I would say,
what about you guys?
for me, I would say like I would take two of your things, the financial like research and understanding more on building my personal finances, keeping the connection. How important it is to keep connection with your friends and family, and then also too, it's like more so not as philosophy, more so like physical, like the preparation and coming out of this quarantine, having prepared and ready to go for kind of like when the summer hits or later on summer to go like full with their friends. So having that prepared.
Do you want to just repeat that? It's kind of a little choppy.
Oh, you can. I said
Am I frozen?
being. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. And I think my computer just froze.
Oh, okay.
No, I couldn't hear me either.
Okay.
Not in your head. I said I want to get out of this to just because we haven't had really the time to get everything organized and prepared, and coming out of this, I kind of want to be ready for the summer when the summer hits, so we can go full speed ahead and not have to worry about the back end of things. So I think coming out of this, the main thing would be kind of preparation, also on like the personal side, personal finances, and then keeping that connection with family and friends and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And then also too, I
Okay,
want to have like a whole set of. I want to be able to have like a whole catalog of music for when I come out of this, so I can just keep dropping music because I don't have to like continuously, because I won't have enough time to make as much as I do now. So I have like a whole catalog of music to use.
Yeah, Drake's gonna need some new stuff, right? So
Exactly.
The whole OVO team is gonna need some new stuff.
I know, right? Yeah, Roy Woods. Yeah, no, we got beats for you.
Yeah, I'll send you a pack.
Send you back.
Sorry, guys. I just have Nav on the line. Yeah, Nav. What about you, Brader?
Yeah, I'd say like a lot of things is A's. Like I feel like not that I didn't appreciate things before, but I think having a little bit more of an appreciation for even like the simpler things or the simpler moments, and just changing my perspective a little bit to appreciate it more. Another thing too, like with agreement with you and with Dan and you, Jess, is the financial literacy, and more so on the back end stuff. So just making sure that we're not, it may be there's a lot of things that we have to do, so it could be overwhelming, but I think taking it step by step and chunk by chunk, we'll be able to tackle that. And then lastly is just like, I think this time especially is like showing me to like slow down a little bit more and not be so like, not like jumping on things, but like just
learning to take a step back.
Learning to take a step back and be okay, you know what, it's okay if I didn't get to that today, I can get to it tomorrow. I have the time, instead of always like making sure, okay, I gotta get this done right away, I gotta this done. Okay, no, you know what? It's fine if you just do a little bit of that today. It doesn't have to be done all today. It can be done, within the next couple of days. But I think that's like, this time is like really shown me that in particular, I think. So yeah. But
in Italian.
Oh, and me and Jess are gonna try and learn some Italiano.
See.
Yeah, so I think so far we're starting to learn like the days of the week and like the
some
phrases and numbers,
curse words, the good stuff.
Words, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're still practicing that. Like we literally just started the other day. So like we purchased this course from this like online training company. Is it a company or it's like an individual?
It's an individual.
Sorry, individual. He like teaches
multiple languages.
Yeah, like he knows I think the name is like a polyglot, where he knows like multiple languages. So we set up like a online like class and like learning software. So we're just using that. So yeah.
Give us some.
Yeah.
How do you say Friday?
Sorry.
How do you say Good Friday in Italian?
Vernedì.
Ooh,
Verndi.
I'm so
Yeah. Yeah, we're learning slowly but surely. So who knows, Josh, when you see us in person, like 3-4 months from now, we could be speaking Italian. Who knows?
Ciao.
Ciao. But yeah, no, I think this is a good place to leave it. I think this is like a good chat. Definitely, it's a lot of good nuggets of stuff here for people to take away. We'll make sure to leave all of his social media handles in the description box, and we'll obviously leave all of our stuff in the description box too for you guys to check out. We're gonna try and do a lot of more of these calls, a lot of just talking with people, and put out some more interviews hopefully within the next coming weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, so Josh, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. It was great talking with you.
Buddy.
Having me, Dave.
Thank you. No problem. So, yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see everyone soon.
Oh god, it's so beat.
We should have planned that. Damn it.